Everyone, it is late here, and there is a good reason for that. It's like 8 o'clock at night because I'm going to be talking to author Adam Wallace, and he is in Australia. So it is noon Friday for him. It is 8 o'clock at night on a Thursday night for me, and I am so excited to talk to him. I just recommended this book right here for my books for grades 1 through 3. And I went on his website and I was like, oh my gosh, I watched some of his videos and he is such a fun guy. No wonder his books are amazing. So I, emailed him. He said, sure. And here we are. And I am so excited, Adam. Thank you so much. So, everybody, here is Adam. Hi, everyone. I am so excited because I am speaking with author Adam Wallace, all the way from, I was going to say from Australia, and then I switched it up. Adam Wallace from Australia, all the way. And we have such a good Skype connection, and I'm so, so happy about that. And Adam, I am so happy. I went on your website when I was reading about your books, and I saw your videos. I was like, I have to talk to him. I have to talk to him. Your
Oh,
energy
man.
is so good. And I was like, he's like the perfect children's author, what you think they look like. And
I love it.
because I mean, I know I've read a lot of children's books. It's not easy to keep children's attention. It's hard. It's hard to keep kids' attention. And I recommended your book, the one with the how to catch a turkey. It
Yep.
just came out, right? Didn't it just come out this
Yes.
year? And I recommended it as for the Thanksgiving. I like do a little thing where I recommend books for different age groups, and I said this would be the
Yep.
perfect book. And then I looked you up, and then here we are. So I'm so happy about that.
That's so cool. I actually got really nervous writing that book because the publisher asked me to write the How to Catch a Turkey for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, I can't write that. They can't catch the turkey and eat it. Like, we can't do that. And they're like, no, it's okay. It's all right. So, yeah, we
Oh.
had to do a nice ending on it.
Well, I love the covers and I love How to Catch
Mm.
an Elf. I know that one was written like 2 years ago, but
Yep.
I'm going to show everybody a picture of that one because I love your covers. Like, I know you don't. Do you illustrate? Do you illustrate your books?
Not those ones. I do this.
Okay.
I've illustrated a few of my
I
books, but I
thought
do kind of
so.
really simple pictures, and I teach kids how to draw cartoons. But
Right.
those ones are done by Andy Elkerton, he's amazing. And I agree, the covers are incredible.
Oh my gosh, they're just so like I think that for kids books it's like when you're walking through Barnes and Noble and I saw it at Barnes and Noble this weekend, it like catches your eye right away. Like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
beautiful cover and it has to be, I think, for kids to, be walking through and just be like, "Oh, look at that cover." Like, the cover sells the book, I think. But
Absolutely. And look, I kind of agree with the don't judge a book by its cover, but for kids'
yeah.
books, the cover it's massive. And so I go out to markets and things and put signs up and just like a little sign with a picture of the cover, kids will just come over because of the sign. The cover is what gets them straight away. So yeah, really, really important.
Yeah, and they had a table for Christmas and How to Catch an Elf was on that table.
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it was out 2 years ago, but it's still making the table. Okay, it's still there.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
think I assume they're just going to, because there's that one and How to Catch a Leprechaun, which was 2 years ago as well, and I think they're just bringing them out each year, just repeating them out again each time. So, which is awesome. Like it's really nice to see them back out each year.
Yeah, and I do think that is something with children's books that I really enjoy because, of course, you do not see that in the adult section. There's books every
Yeah.
week. There's new books, but with children's books,
Yes.
it's like they bring if it's if it becomes like a classic where it every year. Like now you've got a Thanksgiving, and then you've got Christmas, and you've got unicorn the leprechaun, so St. Patrick's Day. I mean, every holiday they just pull them out because you have a whole new audience every year.
Well, exactly, and I always say that. I don't know if you know the Wiggles, which is the Australian band for
Yep.
kids or group for kids.
Yep.
Yeah, so they and same thing. I always just think that with them that they're for sort of say 2 to 5 year olds, but every year there's a new 2 year old, group of 2 year olds and a new group of 3 year, like they're all growing into it, so they technically can last forever.
Yeah. So, okay, how did you know that that's what you wanted to do? Did you want to write children's books?
Nah, not at all. So when I was at school, I liked writing, and I really enjoyed writing stories and playing around. And then I hit my final year of school, and I hated it so much because I had to write all these like deep and serious and meaningful stories, and I was this totally immature 17-year-old. I looked about 10 and I acted about 9, and I hated it. So I wrote what they wanted, and so I passed, but I didn't enjoy writing stuff that I didn't like, so I just gave up. I became an engineer and
Wow.
went that way. Yeah, so I never, and even when I was enjoying writing, I never considered that might be a career. Like I just, it was a bit of fun, and that was it. And then, yeah, so about 10 years after school, after school finished, I started writing again, and just loved it. Like that 10 years off, it had sort of, I don't know, when I started again, it just rekindled this love of writing. And once I started, that was 20 years ago, and I've written every day since. And yeah, just totally, yeah. And again, not even thinking of it as a career or even to get published at first, but just loving it. And it kind of built from there. And it was about 5 years in, I self-published, and that went really well. And I thought, maybe something could happen with this. And yeah, kind of went from there.
That's awesome, especially because you have the series. Like, kids love series. And
yes.
As a parent, I love series because it's like the book is going to be good. That's another thing about children's books. When you buy them, if you have kids, it's like you can collect them. And I love collecting the series, And that's why when I saw this and I, looked further into what your work was, I was like, oh my gosh, he is like, my grandchildren, I'm buying this book because I now have grandchildren. I'm that old. So now it goes through the second. And I will be buying these books for them. And I think that it's so cool to have the whole series. And I don't know, like, did you think of that like as a series, or did you just start and then it just kind of grew?
So I've done a couple of different things. So I've previously done a series with chapter books for kids, like some novels for kids, and learn a lesson there, and that they followed on one from the other, which is good. But the second cover was better than the first one, so kids always wanted the second book, but they had to read the first one, and so that caused some issues. So I did another series of shorter chapter books, which had each one was like a standalone. So I guess almost like a Simpsons episode where it's the same characters, but you don't need to have necessarily watched before to read it. But with the How to Catch ones, that was actually the publisher came to me for the How to Catch a Leprechaun and said, we've got this idea for a book. It was actually someone I'd worked with here who'd gone back to America and was then over there. And she said, would you like to write this book? And so I wrote it. And I don't know if any of us expected it would do as well as it did. But once it did, they sort of said, well, that went really well. How about How to Catch an Elf? And then how about How to Catch this and that? And so now they just came back to me a few weeks ago and saying, we've decided to do another one, How to Catch a Dragon. So, yeah, it just kind of keeps building. But I agree. I think the idea of a series, for kids especially, is fantastic because there's that familiarity, even though it's different as well. It keeps it, like, I think kids like that repetition and familiarity.
Yeah. And they like to, it looks like it would be easy, but I don't think so at all. Okay? I don't think, having read my share of children's books, because it has to be so simple that they can memorize. Mm-hmm. And then what I've always found with my kids was like that repetition, and it has to have like a cadence to it, right? Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
You can tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like the cadence.
You're totally wrong. No, no, you're actually absolutely right. And especially because a lot of kids' books, especially like younger kids, they're going to be read out loud. And so it has to sound good, but it has to be easily read as well. So you've got to write it in a way that people aren't going to stumble over it, especially if it's rhyme. You want to be able to read it smoothly. And so Dr. Seuss is the king of that, where I've actually tried with his work to put emphasis on different words to read it wrong, and it still works. Like he's somehow written it in a way that it works no matter how you read it. So I find that if I'm writing rhyme especially, I'll always read it out loud, which I think is crucial editing and reading out loud anyway. But yeah, if I stumble over something, I'll realise it's a problem. I'll give it to other people to read, and if they stumble as well. But then I'll also try and read lines wrong so that I might read it how someone else might put emphasis on a different word. So when I say wrong, I just mean not how I imagine it read. Because you have a way in your head you think it's going to be read, but not everyone's going to do that.
Right.
So what I've found now is that, and I've read an article saying these things are a bit of a lazy technique, but I think they're actually crucial in rhyme, using things, commas and italics. Because then you kind of are forcing the people to read it a certain way and put the emphasis on a certain word. And that makes it so much easier for parents to read it to kids as well. So, yeah, kind of learnt that as I went along. But it is, as you say, it's so important. And it's not, a lot of people think writing kids' books is easier, and the shorter it is, the easier it is. But I find it actually gets harder the shorter it is. I had to write a book once that was 10 pages long. There was 5 double spreads. There was 10 words on each spread. So I had to write 50 words, and it took me about 3 weeks because I just couldn't get it into that short space. So, yeah, the shorter they are, I actually found it really tricky.
Yeah, really. And, you know, I know even just from reading to my children and now my grandchildren, you have to appeal to the parents too, because, you know,
Yes.
here's what, you know, if they say, here, grandma, read me this book. And then I'm like, I get bored. And they can't read yet. So you start like skipping paragraphs. And you start, like,
Yeah,
you know, like,
absolutely. I've had people write to me saying, like, if I had to read one more boring fairy book, I would have shut it. So, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think things like The Simpsons are so clever, because they kind of appeal to all the different age groups. And, like, it can be the same joke, can appeal on different levels. And I think kids' books that do that, it's fantastic as well, because, yeah, as, you know, parents and grandparents are reading it to the kids, and as you say, if they're bored, that's going to come across in the reading as well, and then the kids aren't going to enjoy it, and it's just a vicious cycle.
yeah, I really think that that's why Goodnight Moon became what it did.
Mm.
Not during her lifetime. It kind of took off after she died. But for me, like having read that, it had that, like, you know, like you could memorize. Like I knew every word. I didn't have to look at it anymore. And it wasn't like the illustrations were awesome because they weren't, you know. But it had a flow to it, and it was like, oh, okay, I don't have to look at this anymore. I already know it. Turn the page. You know, it was like,
Yeah,
of course, that's
absolutely. And then it becomes
way
natural,
younger,
and
you know. But I do think that even with your age group books, like, you know, appealing to the parents, getting those pictures down, like, okay, so here's a question I always wondered. Like, so when you're writing it, are you envisioning, like, what's going to be, because that's difficult. You've got to, like, see, okay, what's on this page, what's going to be on this page. And like you said, like the flat, like, you know, you've got to get that open page to look all connected, right? When it's flat book like that.
yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question, and I probably do different things. Like, I'm not a very visual person. Like, I can't see things in my mind like a lot of people can visually. So if I'm writing, I don't necessarily see it. I don't necessarily see what the characters look like or any of that sort of thing. But excuse me, what I will do with that is often use pictures as a punchline or something like that. And so I might do a little note saying, you know, it's not the text, and then I might say, oh, it'd be great to have a picture of this here.
Yeah.
But generally, not that often. And generally, I've been really lucky with pretty much all my illustrators, actually, is that we've kind of been on similar wavelengths. So I'll just write a little, you know, I'll write a bit, and they'll, even if I'm sort of leading towards something, they'll get it and they'll do it. Or they'll go in a totally different direction, but it'll work. So, and a lot of illustrators don't like authors sort of breathing down their neck and telling them what to do all the time, because they do see stuff differently. And so a lot of illustrators don't like to even speak to the author, because they want to be able to do it in their own creative way. So I try to stay back as much as possible at the start, at least. And then once it comes through, then I might make a couple of comments saying, oh, you know, this expression is meant to be annoyed rather than angry, or like little, but it's usually little stuff like that. So yeah, I try not to think about it too much, especially in picture books. The only way I think of it in picture books is with the page turn.
Right.
So thinking what text might need to be there, and then the reveal on the next page or something like that. But that's probably it, really.
Okay, so you say you write every day. Is this your full-time gig now? Like this is all you do?
It is, yeah. So 2009, I quit engineering, and yeah, I still every now and then do it, because my first boss is one of my best friends now. So every now and then he'll ring up and say, "Oh, can you do a few days' work for us?" And I'll say, "Yeah, sure." But yeah, pretty much writing is a full-time job now, which is awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. So, okay, do you know you write so many books. Are you like always ahead? Like, I know what I want to do. Like, do you have it like planned out for, like, you know, for release like next year? Like, do you plan out a certain amount of books? Because I don't know. How many books do you write a year?
It varies. I did like a bucket list a few years ago, and one of my things on the bucket list was publish one book a year. Like, so if I did that for the rest of my life, that's like 60 books or something. I don't know, my maths might be out. I just turned 106 apparently, so that's all right.
Right.
But yeah, no, I pretty much just, well, there'll be different projects. So like for Source Books, who are the publisher I do the How to Catch books, those ones I kind of just write as they ask me to. But like picture books don't take too long to write. So yeah, no, I have projects because I self-publish still as well.
Oh, okay.
And work for a couple of other publishers too. So yeah, the self-published ones, I do How to Draw books. So I plan to do one of those a year. And then I had another series we were doing 2 a year, but I wrote 12 of those in a year, so they were kind of set and just had to be illustrated. But then I just wrote and finished a book now that I illustrated, so that's going to be out next year. So I don't really plan the year ahead, apart from thinking, well, because I visit a lot of schools, especially, and in the start of the year, I like to do launches at schools. And so I want to have at least 3 books for that. So that's kind of my goal, is to have 3 books out in that first 6 months of the year. Then I can launch them at schools, and then whatever else happens, I've done 3 books. So, but I'll still, even once I've done those, I'll keep writing. So in terms of how many, I don't know. I think last year I wrote about 15 or 16 books or something, I think. I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah, so it depends. If I get on a roll with a series, and I'll just keep going with it. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. Like one book I just wrote for a company in Slovenia, actually. There was one book, but it was 30 poems, which could be one book or it could be 30 books, because most of those poems could be a picture book. So,
right.
But I count that as one book. So yeah, so it just depends. But yeah, but that was a really fun project. Actually, it was really good.
I'm going to have your website listed below because I want everybody to go to your website because it's so much fun. And I want them to watch the videos because they're so much fun. Where are you in Australia, by the way?
I am down in Melbourne. So yeah, Melbourne born and bred.
Wow. Okay, you want to know my favorite Australian TV show that is on Netflix?
Yes.
Rake.
Oh, right. Yeah, Rake's very cool.
I'm glad you know it because I was talking to an Australian author, Sally Hepworth. She writes women's books, and she was like, I never heard of it. I'm like, what? How could you not hear of Rake? And then I emailed her after, and she looked it up, and she was like, oh my gosh, it is fun. I'm like, I love Rake. He's like my favorite Australian guy, okay? He's like so much fun.
Yeah, he's very cool. And I think, I've got a feeling they may have done an American version of it at some stage as well, maybe. I'm not sure. I might be remembering that wrong, but yeah, it's very cool. My dad loves that show. I was going to say, is it popular? Because Sally didn't hear of it. So I was like, is it a popular? It's popular where I am, but I'm in, the eastern part of the United States. Yeah, you're right. I think it is. It's on the ABC, which is not one of the commercial channels. So it probably doesn't get as many viewers as other channels might. But I think for the ABC, it's a very popular program. But yeah, I actually just had sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I actually got a friend in America as well. He's in Washington DC, and he said that I think it's on Netflix over there now. They just put Kath and Kim on as well. Have you seen Kath and Kim?
I haven't, but I'm going to look it up because I picture Rake as like the Australian Brad Pitt, like that he's like the most famous Australian ever, and obviously that's just not true. So.
Oh, love it. I'm sure he'd be very, very glad to hear that as well.
I know. If I find him, I will talk to him. But But anyway, so I'm glad that I found an Australian that actually knows the show. So I feel better about that now.
Yeah, you can thank my dad for that as well.
Yeah, I can thank your dad, right? I tell everybody about it. So, well, thank you so much, Adam. Awesome. I am so glad that we connected. And like I said, your books are so much fun. I'm going to be giving them away to my grandchildren. I mean, I am so happy that I stumbled upon them. And, I recommend them to everybody because I think that like I said, I went to Barnes & Noble just to find it. Because I just wanted to see it in person because I had just seen it on, on my computer. And I'm like, I got to go look at these books. And they're absolutely beautiful. And just keep doing what you're doing because...
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Because you are very talented and I loved it so much. And everybody go over to my Instagram because somehow, some way, we will be giving away books. I don't know how yet, but we are going to give them away. And because I want everybody to see it. I want everybody to have one of the turkey ones and the elf one. So, we'll figure it out. Cool. But keep writing.
We'll work it out somehow.
And I wish you all the best. And, you're Amazing. You're an amazing writer. So I just like to be able to tell you
Thank you.
that.
Thank you. That means a lot. And I love that there can be this sort of random connection through a book that I wrote, like that we can have this connection. And so to hear you say that is, someone I've just met. It's awesome. It's so
It really
nice.
is. It really is. And I'm so happy I got to meet you. So we'll stay in touch because I can't wait to see what you have next. We can keep talking. You keep writing and we'll keep talking, okay?
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right. Have a great day, Adam. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. You too.
Bye bye. Gosh,
Bye.
wasn't he fun? I am so happy that I found him. It's just so crazy. I mean, I was looking through books to do my book list and I went on his website and I'm like, yes, I want to talk to him. And then I got to, and he's all the way in Australia. This is why this is so much fun. And like I said, we're going to be giving away some of his books. I don't know how, I don't know which ones. I will figure that out by the time I post this. And because I just want everybody to see his books, and he is amazing and they are beautiful. They are, I love children's books that are so well illustrated, and and kids love them too. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please hit like, and if you want to see my videos every day, please subscribe. And it's late now and I get to get ready for bed. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.